Hey, everybody, welcome to Mahoney Matters Interviews. I'm editor Chris Pugh. One of our big stories of the past week is a situation where in WFMJ, where there was an employee that made a post about straight pride. FMJ said it was under investigation. And over the weekend, they terminated the employee and they made the announcement last night. We've got the employee with us, Madonna Chism Pinkard, the former community relations director of WFMJ. And wanted to give her a chance to come on and just tell her story, what was going on with her. So, Madonna, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we talked a little bit beforehand. I just had some questions, just understanding. So, let me make sure I have this right. So, you're the community relations director, well, you were the community relations director of WFMJ. You had a show on Sunday morning where you kind of spotlighted events in the area. Yeah, they had to do some other things during the week, but your main job was the community relations where you say, hey, there's a great event coming up, you should go to it. Right? Was that kind of like the big thing you did on there? Okay, fantastic. Okay, cool. How long were you at FMJ for? Okay, great. So, in what you do, and I think the title, sometimes when people look at your title, they say, "Oh, you're like a public relations director," where you might say, "Hey, we want to reach out to the Democrat community, the Republican community, or the gay community, or the church community, or whatever." You don't do that as much. It's more of if somebody has an event they want to promote, you help them out with that. Then, right?
That is correct.
Okay, cool.
Basically,
Okay.
whether development, things that are happening within our community, a lot of nonprofits and organizations, I would contact them, find out what they were doing, find out what their purpose was, and if they were having an event, we'd advertise it and promote it for them. That was basically it regarding the talk show. Also, I handled Federal Communications Commissions from WFMJ to the Federal Communications Commission, like a quarterly report, which I'll outline everything that was aired on our station. I just put it in a line by line item and put it together and send it to the FCC.
So the night or the morning you made the post, we haven't met before, and I don't know where you're coming from or anything, but what happened that morning? Like, so you saw a post, you made it. I mean, what was kind of the thought process of? That?
To brighten myself up and have a good time. I came across somebody shared that meme with me. I looked at it, I read it, I thought, oh, that's fine. Share, moved on to the next thing. I didn't think about it at all, or who it would hurt, or who it would offend. I didn't think about that at all. But then the following morning, I received an email from one of the viewers of WFMJ that said it was horrific, it was homophobic, I was a bigot, and I should speak on these things, and not everything has to be the way that it used to be. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, lady. And she said, what if I put something on that said, I want to have a white history month? And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going down the race rabbit hole again. So I just wrote her back and I said, I apologize, didn't mean to offend you. I'll take that down. I went back to Facebook, took it down with a message saying that the views and opinions expressed on this page or on WFMJ Community Connection are not necessarily those of the staff development. Gave a little disclaimer. And then I said, I'm sorry. I offended one of our viewers. I'm sorry. And then it turned into a big snowstorm. Oh, only one viewer? You offended? No, you offended a lot of viewers. And he took that as I meant one viewer. No, one of our viewers wrote.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Well,
and that's how I meant it. It was taken the wrong way.
When did you see? Because maybe one person emailed the inbox that you see for your show and everything, but it seemed to be there seemed to be a lot of posts starting to come up saying, "Look, this is over the line." When did you start to see those posts? Because yeah, you were responding to one person that directly responded to you, but it seemed to be like on some of your pages as well as the FMJ page, people were like, "This is way over the line. This is uncalled for." Did you see that after that?
Yes, I started seeing that, and I started seeing people saying things like, "Oh, she's always been this way. She always has, been this way." Yep. If there's an issue that I feel strongly about, I'm going to write about it on my Facebook page. Not
Okay.
necessarily to represent WFMJ, but to represent Madonna, Chism, Pinkard. I don't like people who tell lies and do things that they shouldn't do, and I'll call them out. I just most certainly will. And
Okay.
there are people that I have exercise poor judgment in arguing with them on social media. And it got to a point where I think that the management at WFMJ said, we're tired of her having this considerable history of exercising poor judgment on social media and related issues. So we're going to let you go. And I said, oh, man. But all I was doing was expressing my views and a like of a meme on Facebook. I wasn't trying to attack any organization or any pride or any people. But then people brought up things. Well, this time, she wrote me one time and said, well, she said on FaceTime one time this, that, and the other. My son had just died, and she said he should have died. And I'm like, no, I didn't say your son should have died. Look at what I wrote. But that's the way the person took it. And it's all kinds of with, but somehow they kept them in these screenshots or whatever. Like, when it's time, we're going to get you. And they got me, and it's all right.
Well, let me ask it this way. I think the hard thing is when you're in the public, and again, you do a Sunday morning show like you did one at FMJ. You weren't like the main 11 o'clock news anchor, but did you understand like where making a post like that could make a station look bad? I know what you're saying. You're like, hey, I'm not going to back down. I want to say how I feel and everything. Did you ever think about like, well, if I do that, then it could make the station I work for look bad? And like, was that your intention? Like, what was your thought process with that? Because sometimes, people could look at it saying, well, I'm fired up about something. I want to represent myself. But then if they say, hey, we know you because we see you on Sunday morning or we see you in the newsroom and everything, even though you're not in the midst of a newsroom, people can kind of equate you to what FMJ is feeling. So, like, the things you say and the arguments you make could have a negative impact on FMJ. Did you think that, like, when you've made some of your Facebook arguments in the past or with the straight pride, like, how do you come to grips with that? Because I know that's very hard for a lot of people out there.
To be completely straightforward with you, I didn't think about it at all. And that's where the exercise in poor judgment comes in.
Okay.
I should have thought about it. I should have thought about what are you passing? What are you forwarding? What are you sharing? And through that, I did offend. Goodness, I apologize. If of my personal agreement with a couple being married and celebrating straight, which I am, with a very wonderful, loving husband who told me, Madonna, we'll work through all of this. We'll come out on top. I love you. But I didn't realize that my poor judgment offended a lot of people. And I have to come clean and basically say, it was poor judgment, and I'm sorry. If I offended you, the next time you see me out on the street, I will look you in the eye and say, what did I say wrong to you? What did I do wrong to you? I apologize. What can I do to make it right? I think I'm the most trusted person. Well, not the most, but one of the most trusted people in television in this media market. I'm an African American. I want to say a big woman. I handle a lot of issues, and I think I handle them well. And I think I'm fair, and I think I'm honest, and I think I've got a attitude. And yes, I've been known to cuss people out, but I'm not going to pick up a gun and kill somebody. I'm not going to, If I offended somebody in my poor judgment, I apologize. In my poor judgment, I apologize.
Did you have any thoughts? And I understand some people who would, you weren't thinking, hey, I want to make a comment about the gay community. You were just pretty much saying, look, I thought this was funny. I mean, was there any other thoughts you had in the past about the community, or was it just more you were looking at saying, hey, here's a meme that might be fun to share? Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
Share. And it took all of 3 seconds to do that. But people in the community upset. I mean, people came out of calling me a bigot, calling me a racist, saying all kinds of terrible things. And emotionally, as I think back, that reflectively, that really hurt my feelings. That hurt my heart, because people of whom I thought were my friends were really not at all. You know, they didn't support me at all and say, you know what, she made a mistake. It's not that big of a deal. It was a big deal to a lot of people. And those who are a part of that community who has a lifestyle that is different than mine, I need to respect that. And I need to apologize for offending their lifestyle and their community.
Some people brought this up. Was there a thought? You have I think you have 2 other kind of like personal pages that more like private and everything, and then your Madonna Jean page was kind of like your public. Hey, this is where I'm sharing things from FMJ. Was there ever a thought of saying, well, maybe I'll keep my personal viewpoint on my personal page that no one sees? Was there a thought of that, or was it just more like, hey, it's just I like this meme, I want to share it? Like, some people were asking about the personal versus public standpoint.
I wasn't thinking.
Okay.
The small picture, and people, WFMJs, no, it had nothing to do with WFMJ. It had to do with Madonna, Chism, Pinkard.
Right.
And me putting that meme on and offending you. And if I offended you, I apologize. I don't mean to make enemies. I mean to dwell on positive news. And that's all my shows were about. I tried to never even do writing. And I would like to bet that many of the people, of the thousands of people that wrote in, I don't think any of them even got up on Sunday morning. No loss to them, but a loss to me, because I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed having fun on that show.
What are you learning from social media? I mean, I know you might look for another job or something. Is this something like are you still going to kind of go at the hip and say, hey, I'm going to tell you what I think, or is there a thought of saying maybe I should go back a little bit? Saying, hey, if this hurts me down the road. I mean, what's kind of takeaway you can have from this?
My takeaway is,
Okay. Facebook or I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to stop me. I don't have to commit or be friendly with everybody. If you don't like me, you don't like me. That's your loss. However, I have shut down my Facebook page, and matter of fact, in my groveling and asking for my job back, I basically told the management at WFMJ, I'm willing to give up Facebook for a year. You can have the marketing and promotions people do Facebook. That's their job anyway. It's not mine. I know you.
So poor decision.
I know you said that, hey, maybe you feel like you shouldn't have been fired, or you should have been able to keep your job or anything. Do you understand where WFMJ is coming from? Just in the whole idea of, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, we could look at Facebook right now and they'll say, hey, you've got freedom of speech. Say what you want to say. Who cares? But do you understand where FMJ is coming from the aspect of saying, look, you might have freedom of speech, but they a company has the freedom of saying, look, what you're saying we're not comfortable with, and we need to make a move. Like you understand that part, right?
I do understand
Okay.
it.
Sure.
Speeches. Free speech has to do with people speaking out against the government and being silenced because of it. But everybody now, we live in a new and emblazoned world that people feel they can say anything they want, they can do anything they want. If they want to storm the store, or grocery store, or the Capitol, they can do so. So people now have a different view of what it was in 2004 when it started, and even further back when I was born. I was born in the 60s. I'm going to turn 60 years old this year. And I'm telling you, what is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. And right is right if nobody does it. And wrong is wrong if everybody does it.
What?
If I did something wrong on behalf of WFMJ, I didn't mean to do so, and it wasn't purposefully driven. Not at all. But I understand where they are coming from. They feel like they've got a black eye in the community.
Right.
And if anybody knows me, they know that was not my purpose. If you know who I am, you know that I'm a good, upstanding person. I don't want to say that I'm perfect. I'm not. No one is, but I've made mistakes. And this is a big mistake that I have made that has made an impact on my livelihood, my paycheck. Not that they paid me a whole lot of money, but no, it's made a difference. So, maybe I'll take my writing skills elsewhere. Maybe I'll take my community relations skills elsewhere. I'm going to start a Sunshine Community Relations or a Sunshine Community Connection and talk about the positive things in our community and put it on maybe a YouTube or a podcast. I'm looking at all the options that are available to me. But then if all else fails, I can still roll back and go and be a housewife like I probably should be, and maybe even go back into opticianry. I'm a licensed optician in the state of Ohio. I can make $50,000 doing that job. So I'm not gonna go broke. And this, you could look at me and tell I've never missed a bill. So I'm not destitute. I'm just sad because that was something I loved to do. Loved it.
I definitely understand. I just want, and I would say it's not just you, but the other people out there, because there's a lot of people. There's been a big conversation online about freedom of speech versus what you can say in the company. And yeah, I want to make sure you understand that, because again, we're not taking personal viewpoints here, but on the other hand, there's an understanding of that. One other thing too, you made a couple comments online, talking about, obviously there's a large part of the community that were offended by what you said in the post you made, stuff like that. There was also like a podcast that came out, and really they never said she should get fired. I mean, I listened to the podcast. Yeah, two guys on the podcast. One guy was just kind of saying, "Hey, they may have to let her go based on what happened." And I think you understand the reality of that, and I think we understand. I mean, working for a company, understanding that, hey, there's certain things you just can't say on social media if you want to keep your job. Right. But, you did have a comment, and hey, I can understand maybe you're angry or you're frustrated, but you're like, you guys made me lose my job, and maybe you referred to the community that way too. Did you understand that, maybe their reaction came based on what was originally said? Like, it wasn't like they just said, hey, we don't like her, let's make her lose her job. They were responding to a post you had. So, I mean, there was a lot of people questioning what you said there. Did you have a chance to reflect on that? Well, MLO Brothers. MLO Brothers is the name of the podcast. Right.
So maybe I still feel like this was not a conversation. This really wasn't news. But it's news. Their comments, were like, I can't believe, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, they didn't make news. I made of putting a meme on Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just to push
Take responsibility, not anybody else.
and to push back on that, I think where this becomes an interesting story is you're in the public, you were part of a TV station, we could watch you on TV, but I think it is a foundational issue out there saying, hey, social media, you could click on something in 3 seconds, make a post and everything, but when people comment on it, they're not commenting because they're just picking on certain people. It's more of a thing of saying, hey, should someone say what they said? So it's like the news. We made a story because it's an issue out there that a lot of people face at their job. If they work for TV or the local fast food place, what can you post online, what you can't? I mean, what you're facing, other people face too. And I think if it's us or MLO Brothers or whoever the case might be, they're responding to something that you did online. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they just said, "Hey, we're going to pick on." Yeah. It's not. Let's pick on Madonna. They said, "Look, something that you posted offended a large part of the community. How do we respond to that?" And a lot of it was, I understand. In your boat, you're sitting there like, "Hey, I don't like reading icky stuff about me online," but understand that they're responding to something you originally did. Like if you didn't originally do that, they probably wouldn't have known to respond to you. So I just want to push. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right.
Takes responsibility and makes no excuses for their actions. I did it. It's done. I put the name up there. I thought it was funny. I thought it reflected me and expressed my personal views. And
Yeah.
if I offended anyone.
Well, I appreciate your comments. And like I said, it's an interesting issue. I mean, first of all, obviously you're on TV, you're somebody that people have come to watch. But again, like I said before, it's something that we all face. What is okay to post online, what's okay to not, and your posts have consequences. So I appreciate your honesty about it, and understanding what happened there. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris. And I just want to say also, people had their own opinions of what they thought, happens at WFMJ. I never had a contract. I'm an employee at will like everybody else in Ohio is. Okay. I never had a signed contract that said I do this, that, and the other. And WFMJ does not have a handbook or a policy handbook. It's a small locally owned company. They do everything through what the Brown family says. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. Yeah. And I chose to work there. So if I chose to work there, I chose to abide by their rules.
Yeah.
And if I embarrass them, I don't blame them. I would, be upset with me too.
Well, yeah, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And I definitely want to give you the opportunity to speak to what happened.
Thank you.
And understand what you did. I know you're not affiliated with WFMJ. You're kind of thinking about what's next for you. And I appreciate the fact that you addressed some of the issues that brought up. Do you have plans of addressing the community, or do you have plans of just saying, hey, I'm here if you want to talk to me? I mean, I'm sure that the action that some of the community wanted to be taken was taken against you, but is there any thought of reaching out to the community to say, hey, if you have any other questions, I'm here? You did apologize for what you did. I mean, is there any next steps on there that you may be able to do?
I think that the next step should be to heal in our community, and make sure that everyone understands one another and is tolerant of one another. Maybe that might take a community dialogue. Maybe during the Pride Month, we need to have a community dialogue on gay relations. Okay, why some people are against it, why some people are. Normally it comes down to the religion thing. Okay, normally that's what it comes down to. But for me, I will always want a man. Always. Okay, that's my church. That's my personal opinion, my personal choice and preference. But there are other people that may be confused about what they want. Maybe we need to have a community dialogue on this. Maybe we need to talk about it and understand why some people are gay, or why some people are transsexual, or why some people are queer. Why? Maybe we need to have that conversation. Maybe we need to talk to one another. to understand one another. Because, Chris, there's one thing that I know. Mouth getting dry. One thing that I know is that I have something in common with every LBGT, I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong. LBGT, everybody
Well,
from that genre. I have something in common with all of them. And you know what it is? We all bleed the same blood. I'm a human being, as are they.
Right. Yeah, I think it comes down to, with the LGBTQ plus community, I think what it comes down to is just respect. I mean, obviously, people have the right to love who they want to love. I mean, that people have the right to do whatever, but I think the big thing that caused concern in that community wasn't just, hey, if you like men or women or whatever, it's just more what was said. And I think you've understood that, and you've apologized for what you said, how that affected other people. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think if it's you or somebody else, it's just, how do we respect each other? And I think obviously you've been through a lot. I think you've come to understanding of what consequence your action had and everything, and you move on from there. And I think that's a good lesson for wrestlers. How do we treat other people, and can we treat other people with respect or not? So
I agree. And somebody wants to me, or somebody wants to, level one-on-one with me, that's fine. I'm open and willing to do so. But I think community dialogue would really be a plus if we could have community dialogue on it at a town hall meeting or such. But I know that's probably stressing the point. But I think that we all need to just get along.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said before, can we have respect for one another? I mean, I'm not saying a community meeting would be bad or not, but it just starts with what we post and what we don't post. So, well, Madonna,
it's true.
Thank you for your time. Let me talk to you for a minute afterwards. Madonna Chism Pinkard, the former community relations director for WFMJ. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody.